Part 176. Back to the 60s, The Struggle Career of a Charmed Wife. Author, Ning Xiaobai. Chapter 1751. Your sister-in-law is at home. Feng Qingxiu always felt that she had forgotten something, and now she remembered to ask everyone, forgetting Lu Chen. Although Chen Chen was her grandnephew, they had only known each other for a short time, and she didn't even think of him going out with the old man and his children. She felt very ashamed. How sad would it have been if Zhang Xiaoyu was present? Su Jiaojiao reached out to grab Feng Qingxiu's sleeve. "Auntie, look, brother Tian Mao is ignoring me." Feng Qingxiu made a mistake and avoided it. She said gently, "Our children don't like to play with people they don't know. You can go find someone else to play with." With the passage of time, family, work, and all aspects of interpersonal communication have gradually smoothed away the edges and corners of her body, but she is still very strong in her bones. Her children will always come first, and she will not wrong herself because of outsiders. Child, so she refused Su Jiaojiao's unreasonable request without hesitation. The reason for not letting her daughter wear skirts to irritate Su Jiaojiao is because her daughter is young, lives in a relatively simple environment, can be full of emotions and anger, and cannot cope with the calculations of those who want to. He was at odds with the well-connected Lu family. Hearing his mother's words, Zibao's eyes flashed with a smile. He liked his mother's protection of him. Su Jiaojiao's eyes turned red, and tears suddenly came out of her eyes. "Auntie, I just like to play with brother Tian Mao, please don't stop me, okay? After playing for a few days, we will become familiar with each other, and we won't be strangers anymore." Standing in front of Feng Qingxiu and wiping away her tears, it felt like she had been greatly bullied. The boys who were playing billiards saw this, and a few immediately dropped their rackets and watched the game. They ran over like a swarm and looked at Feng Qingxiu and Lu Tianmao angrily with fierce expressions. "Who are you? Don't bully Jiao Xiao." "Lu Tianmao, I just thought you were quite nice, but I didn't expect you to be so bad." "That's right, don't let your mother bully Jiao Xiao. Jiao Xiao, don't cry. Lu Tianmao is evil. We won't play with him. He's not from our compound anyway." When Feng Qingxiu saw this, she smiled instead of getting angry. She disliked girls like Su Jiaojiao the most in her life, who pushed others into difficult situations. No matter their age or birth, well-behaved and sensible children were more lovable. She also didn't like those in front of her who just wanted to be driven around by Su Jiaojiao because she was beautiful. They had no principles or recognition. The boys in the right and wrong look very young. The older one is 12 or 13 years old, and the younger one is 8 or 9 years old. Seeing a hint of pride in Su Jiaojiao's eyes, Feng Qingxiu felt even more disgusted. "It's not that I've never seen an arrogant girl, it's rare to see someone like her." Either she didn't understand what she said, or if it didn't suit her, she pretended not to hear it and kept going her own way. Feng Qingxiu was too lazy to discipline other people's children. She smiled and said to a group of boys, "We are outsiders and are guests at other people's homes. We can't let people we don't know go back with us. I didn't even lift a finger when I refused. You didn't even touch her, so why did you bully her? You are all men. You need evidence in everything, so don't just accuse someone casually. She has a beautiful appearance, a gentle tone, and a calm and generous manner." The boy who took the lead and was not angry at the mother and son immediately blushed and scratched his head. "Is this really true? You didn't bully Jiao Xiao?" "Of course, I don't know her, how could I bully her for no reason?" Feng Qingxiu nodded vigorously. Back to the 60s, The Struggle Career of a Charmed Wife. Author, Ning Xiaobai. Chapter 1752. The boys were easy to coax, and the anger on their faces quickly dissipated. Zibao curled his lips and said to the boy who took the lead, "Zhou Chong, take someone to comfort this comrade I don't know. We won't bother you. I'll play with you when I have time." Zhou Chong said, I know, let's play ball together in the afternoon and call up brother Shengli. Su Jiaojiao was not willing to give up. She finally met Lu Tianmao, who was outstanding in all aspects, but Feng Qingxiu and her son didn't give her a chance at all. She was so angry that she stamped her feet looking at their backs and pushed Zhou Konggai hard. Say, who asked you to mind your own business? Which brother in the courtyard has no temper? Zhou Chong was not happy either. I protect you because I see you are beautiful and a girl, don't worry if you don't appreciate it. Lu Tianmao doesn't know you at all and doesn't want to pay attention to you at all. Why don't you come up to me? You're so ashamed. Zhou Chong turned around and left. As he walked, he called to the boys who were running over with him, let's go play ball. Su Jiaojiao burst into tears and ran home to complain. Feng Qingxiu and her son didn't care at all about Su Jiaojiao's behavior after being rejected. Fu Bao told his brother about Su Jiaojiao's mockery of him and other people's comments about Su Jiaojiao. Brother, Su Jiaojiao is bad. You don't play with her. I don't know her at all. Zibao touched the top of his sister's head. How does she know your name? Why does she bother you? Hearing his mother's question, Zibao thought for a while. Su Shengli lives in this compound. My grandfather and I met him when our father came here. He brought me to know many children from the military compound. The one just now Zhou Chong is one of them. Su Jiaojiao probably heard her name being called, so I'm not sure how she got involved with me. I saw her for the first time today. Su Shengli is the grandson of General Su Shengli. In addition to Wang Zonghua from Wang Xinchen's family, the good brothers Zibao made in the Red Wall courtyard include Lu Shui's grandsons Lu Yi and Su Shengli and General Wang's grandson Wang Zilong. The letters never stopped. Feng Qingxiu looked at her eldest son's face. Lan Yan is in trouble. Even if she is a seductive man, is Su Jiaojiao too young? What do girls around 10 years old know? She thought the matter would pass quickly, but she never expected that in the evening, when Lu Zhang was about to return to his residence after finishing his day's work, he was greeted by Su Junchu, who had not spoken to him much. Comrade Lu Zhang, the elderly man, was particularly amiable. Lu Jiang's level is not low anymore, but he is just a junior in front of the old commander, and there is a gap of several decades in age. Lu Jiang's attitude was very respectful. Hello, old comrade, but what's wrong with the report I gave at the meeting today? Wang Xinchen, Lu Shui, and Su Lao's Huai co-chaired this meeting, which was related to the future military layout. Lu Zhang considered all aspects when making the report, which also won a burst of applause. Su Junchu waved his hand and said, it's not about work. Not about work? Isn't that a private matter? But apart from having some contact with Sujun, Lin Beixiu, and his wife, his family had no contact with anyone else. Lu Zhang muttered in his heart without showing it on his face, then why are you looking for me? Su Junchu smiled and said, is your eldest son's name Lu Tianmao? Lu Jiang's heart trembled when he mentioned Zibao. Yes, the dog's name is indeed Lu Tianmao. Su Junchu was even more happy. I often heard the old leader say that your son is smart. I have also seen the letter he wrote to the old leader from the old leader. The care for the old leader's health is revealed between the lines. I have also seen his photo. At such a young age, he is indeed a good person. How about we get married? I particularly like your family's Lu Tianmao. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Back to the 60s, the struggle career of a charmed wife. Author, Ning Xiaobai. Chapter 1753. Propose marriage. How old is Zibao? Lu Zhang refused without hesitation. His mother is the master of our family. Let's not mention that the child is only 12 years old this year. He is only half a boy. Even if he is twice as old, we parents will not interfere with him. Freedom of marriage and love. Sujunchu was startled, and his voice rose, "You don't want to?" Lu Jiang's answer greatly went against his plan. Although Lu Tianmao is indeed a little younger, with his intelligence, the Lu family's family background, and his relationship with the old leader, there is no need to worry about his future. He will definitely be a rich son-in-law. Sujunchu has a dazzling eye, so of course he has to make the first move. To be strong, when Lu Tianmao grows up, more people will be watching him, and it may not be his turn. Among the group of granddaughters, Sujunchu likes Sujiaojiao the most, so he naturally planned for her in advance. Sujiaojiao's parents were not high-ranking and had no special abilities. They had relied on themselves to survive these years. Their position had not moved for more than 10 years. If Sujiaojiao wanted to live a carefree life forever, Sujunchu felt that it was inevitable. She must be arranged to marry a good family so that she can continue to enjoy the benefits of a high-ranking family without having to look at other people's eyes. Not only do you have a good family, you also need to have outstanding talents. It is difficult for mediocre people to maintain long-term prosperity if they only have a good family background. Sujunchu went through several rounds before choosing Lu Tianmao. Lu Zhang had a shallow foundation and he could handle it. Moreover, he could obviously go further. Lu Tianmao was the eldest son and would definitely be able to obtain most of the resources of the Lu family in the future, allowing him and Jiaojiao to grow up since childhood. It is hundreds of times better to start cultivating a relationship and get married as a matter of course when you are old than to get married only through blind dates when you are old. He revealed his intention to Sujiaojiao and had seen Lu Tianmao's photos. Sujiaojiao's parents and Sujiaojiao were very satisfied. Taking advantage of Lu Tianmao's recent stay in the compound, they were already approaching him in a planned way. Despite all his plans, Sujunchu never expected that Lu Zhang would refuse him outright, not even a polite refusal. Lu Zhang didn't know what Sujunchu was thinking, so he said patiently, "Old comrade, don't be offended. I definitely can't agree with this. Parents' orders to find matchmakers are all things from the old feudal era and have long been abandoned by the new society. In the early years, the old comrade from Luocheng wanted to marry my daughter, but I didn't agree, and now it's no exception. Just kidding, what kind of upbringing does the Su family have? Not to mention, just one Su Maiziang made their family avoid her. Comrade Lu Zhang, don't refuse in a hurry. Once you see my Jiaojiao, you will know how good she is." Sujunchu was very confident in his granddaughter. "My Jiaojiao is the most beautiful girl in the compound. My child is well behaved and sensible, and will definitely not disappoint you. He will definitely be a good daughter-in-law for your family, and the relationship between our two families will be further improved." During the day, Zhang Yun made an agreement with Lu Zhang to go back together in the evening. After waiting for him for a long time, he didn't come out, so he came over. When he heard Sujunchu's words, he immediately frowned and said, "Old Su, what are you talking about? The biggest treasure of the Lu Zhang family is she is only 12 years old, where did Lu Zhang get his daughter-in-law?" Sujunchu pulled him and said, "Lao Zhang, come and tell Lu Zhang how good my Jiaojiao is and how well she matches Lu Tianmao." "Old Su, are you confused? How old is Zibao and you want to recruit him as your grandson-in-law? What age is he?" Zhang Yun still didn't understand anything, thinking of Zhang Xiaoyu several times saying about Sujiaojiao. According to rumors, he couldn't help but pat Sujunchu's arm. "Don't say Lu Zhang didn't agree, even an outsider like me can't see it. How can I be like you?" Back to the 60s, the struggle career of a charmed wife. Author, Ning Xiaobai. Chapter 1754. Zhang Yun's words made Sujunchu a little unhappy. "Lao Zhang, you won't help me if you don't want to, but you can't say that. Don't I like Lu Tianmao?" Zhang Yun sneered. Only he knew best whether he really liked Lu Tianmao or whether he wanted to use the name of marriage to completely take advantage of talented people who were destined to be outstanding and strengthen the Su family. Whether it's a daughter, a son, nephews, nieces, or grandchildren, which one of the children of the Su family is the wrong one? Even with a poor family background, he is still a talented person who is very capable and can get ahead on his own. After Su Maixiang divorced Shen Qing, she married an old man over 50 years old under the arrangement of Su Junju. He was Su Junju's old subordinate. He had become very powerful in the past few years and had done a lot for the Su family. Su Maixiang wore a floral skirt at the dance, and looked like a good dancer with long sleeves. When several old friends saw her, they shook their heads and sighed behind their backs. Su Junju did impeccably in big things, but he became more and more confused in small things. I don't know whether it was because the Su family had no successors, or for other reasons. Su Junju always wanted future generations to marry well, and always be a master. Su Jiaojiao's father, Su Chang, wanted to marry Su Jiaojiao from General Su's family. The reason why Bai Shui married Su Junlin was related to Su Chang's intention to flatter her. Su Junju had already made plans for this son, so the couple naturally did not allow it. However, due to various reasons, the Su family cancelled the marriage, and Bai Shui lived an honest life with Su Junlin. Su Jiaojiao married another person, and Su Chang married another person, and gave birth to a daughter named Su Jiaoqiao. The Su family may not have meant to disgust General Su's family by giving their daughter this name. General Su complained to Zhang Yun many times. Zhang Yun already loved Zibao, how could he allow Su Junju to miss him so much? Old Su, what does it matter if you like him? Zibao is smart and smart. There are many old people who like him. Do they all want him as their son-in-law because they like him? Then wouldn't he have to make dozens or 20 marriages to be worthy of everyone? Do you like him? Zhang Yun said with a sullen expression. Lu Zhang has already rejected you. If you continue to say so, aren't you trying to force someone into trouble? Lu Zhang was also worried that Su Junju would anger his real in-laws, and besides, it originally concerned his own son, so he hurriedly said to Su Junju, "Comrade Su, thank you for your love for Kwanzaa. It's better not to mention the engagement again. This kind of thing must be rejected with one sentence, leaving no room for negotiation by the other party." Su Junju said unhappily, "Isn't my granddaughter bad?" Lu Zhang smiled faintly, "I have never seen my granddaughter, and I don't understand. But I know that the new society and new customs emphasize free love and free marriage. We should lead by example, right? Old comrades despised feudal arranged marriages when they were young. How come this cancer causes people to fall back on their parents' advice of marrying a matchmaker in their later years?" Zhang Yun nodded, that's right, Lao Su, aren't you contradicting each other? Times are progressing, why are your thoughts regressing? Abandoning the burden of feudal arranged marriage, Su Junju actively responded to the call. As Su Junju's old boss, Zhang Yun tried to persuade Su Junju several times, but since Su Junju came from behind, he stopped talking. Su Junju's face became even more ugly, and he said in a deep voice, "Lu Zhang, are you really unwilling to let Lu Tianmao get engaged to my Jiao Qiao? I'm sorry, but I obey, no fool would agree, okay." After Su Junju heard this, even though he couldn't bear to part with Lu Tianmao as a talent, he couldn't help but walk away. Back to the 60s, the struggle career of a charmed wife. Author, Ning Xiaobai. Chapter 1755. Zhang Yun shook his head when he saw Su Junju's back angrily leaving with the rickets and stagger of an elderly person. "Lu Zhang, you don't have to worry." Sitting in the car going home, Zhang Yun saw Lu Zhangjian's brows furrowed and comforted him, "No matter how you say this, Lao Su is making trouble unreasonably. You are right to refuse." Lu Zhang sighed, "Why are you targeting Zibao?" Zhang Yun was not surprised and said, "It's normal, considering Lao Su's character." "Normal? Normal people would clamor for engagement when their children are in their teens. When the old comrade from Luocheng wanted to arrange a baby engagement for Luo Peng and Fuobao, was it half serious and half joking under the guise of saving lives? Even if I rejected them, they wouldn't be angry, unlike now. Rejecting Sujunchu is like being disrespectful. Zhang Yun leaned back and said, "First, you have reached the position of military commander at a young age, and in 2 years you will definitely reach a higher level. No one doubts this. Second, Zibao is smart and handsome, and with you, my father, and I have a deep relationship with the old leader, plus we, your relatives and friends, you, me, we will definitely be better than others in time. Third, Zibao's family background is not as outstanding as Zibao's, but it is better than Zibao's family background. People who are not as talented as Zibao, but people with good family backgrounds look down on Sujiao. Lao Su can't control the other person's family, so in the end, won't he fall in love with Zibao?" Lu Zhang sneered and said, "Our family has a shallow foundation. It seems like something is wrong with us. Selfish people tend to put all the blame on others while they are completely innocent. If others don't comply with their own ideas, it is their fault, and they never look for the reasons from themselves." After saying this, Zhang Yun frowned. Frowning, he sighed, "Old Su is really old. He can't imagine the consequences of dragging your whole family on board the Su family's ship." Lu Zhang recalled the dates of Sujunchu's birth and death and some records of his descendants, and suddenly he no longer worried. Sujunchu was approaching his old age. Although the descendants of the Su family were very successful and in the upper class in the eyes of ordinary people, they were already declining in the eyes of those in power. Later, the highest ranking one turned out to be Sujunlin. Other than that, there was no one else. Talents with a higher rank than Sujunlin can only rely on the heroic deeds left by Sujunchu to maintain their so-called red aristocratic status. Lu Zhang relaxed his brows and pinched his nose. "I have to tell King Xiu and Zibao whether Comrade Su's granddaughter is in the compound. If she encounters her, it's better to avoid her. That's necessary. The Su family always does things that are not worthy of publicity." Zhang Yun knows the situation of the Su family best. Back at Jiang's house, while Zhang Yun was talking to Lu's father and Cheng Baoqiu, Lu Zhang, while working with his wife and eldest son to cook for the orderlies and nannies, told them and his son that Sujunchu was looking for him. Feng Qingxiu was stunned and glanced at her son, who was chopping vegetables. Zibao shrugged. "No wonder Sujiaojiao ran straight to me as soon as she came to the billiards court. It turned out that she came with a purpose. I thought she heard someone calling my name, so she knew that my name was Lu Tianmao." Lu Zhang was confused. What happened? Feng Qingxiu told her everything about her encounter with Sujiaojiao, not forgetting to add, "It made Fu Bao cry so early in the morning, because Fu Bao was prettier than her, so she ridiculed Fu Bao for not having flowers. The skirt is from a local girl." You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Back to the 60s, the struggle career of a charmed wife. Author, Ning Xiaobai. Chapter 1756. Although he couldn't express his love for his daughter because of his busy schedule, no one would doubt that Lu Zhang loved his daughter. Suddenly, when he heard Sujiaojiao bullying Fuobao like this, a layer of anger flashed across Lu Jiang's face. He works hard, firstly for the country and the people, and secondly, so that his family can have food and clothing without worries. While he was busy, someone stared at his son and bullied his daughter. How could he not feel angry? If he didn't have some sense in his head, he would really want to ask Sujunchu and his son and daughter-in-law how they raised their children. Feng Qingxiu touched his arm and said, "Don't be angry, the days are long. As people who understand history and know the birth and death dates of many seniors, what can they not see?" Lu Zhang hummed softly, "I'll buy a ticket for Dad and Zibao to go home tomorrow." They can stay here to avoid getting into trouble. We're not afraid of thieves, but we're afraid of being missed by thieves. They are shameless, but we can't hurt the jade bottle because of a mouse. Zibao is a mutton fat white jade pure vase in front of a bodhisattva, and there is no room for error. Zibao had no objection. I also miss Grandpa Jin and Grandpa when at home. I have encountered some problems with my homework recently. If Grandpa hadn't been waiting to see Uncle Zhang and say goodbye to him, we would have met our mother and younger brothers and sisters earlier. Then he went back to his hometown. Feng Qingxiu was very sad. They were about to be separated just a few days before they were reunited. Sometimes, she really wants her son to stay and live with her instead of going back to her hometown to study. Zibao handed the kitchen knife to his father, and he came over and hugged his mother's shoulders. "Mom, don't be like this. I am lucky to be able to learn from my grandparents. I really learned a lot of unimaginable knowledge. That is wealth that cannot be described with money. By learning from them, I know how big the sky is and how thick the earth is. I know, but you have been coming and going all these years. You can't live with your parents, brothers, and sisters, and your parents can't take care of you." Feng Qingxiu felt particularly sorry for this son. Why did she agree to let him stay with the old men in the first place? What about study requirements? Zibao smiled and said, "I can take care of myself, and I'm not a child." Feng Qingxiu's eyes were a little red. "I will definitely take a long vacation at the end of this year and take your younger brothers and sisters home to celebrate the new year with you, so you and your grandfather don't have to travel thousands of miles." Zibao glanced at Lu Zhang and said, "That's good. I'll live in Brother Au's new bungalow when I get home." "Why is there only one bungalow built? Our old house was not renovated." Feng Qingxiu mentioned this in the letter she received when she was in the South China Sea Fleet. She forgot to ask about it in detail when she wrote back, but she can probably guess the reason. As expected, Zibao said, "Grandpa thinks it's too ostentatious, so our house will be built 2 years later." Feng Qingxiu nodded, "Your grandfather is right." Zibao continued, "Our bungalow is well built. My cousin is very greedy and plans to build a bungalow next year. I guess my cousin doesn't have enough money." "Mom, you have to be prepared to ask your cousin for a loan." "Prepare?" Feng Qingxiu smiled and said, "Actually, just ask her to ask your grandpa to borrow money, and save more money in the discount for you later." She and Lu Zhongyuan were away from home, and Lu's father had to step in to deal with their personal relationships at home. They looked at them piecemeal and ignored them, but the Lu family and the Wang family had many houses and many relatives, so they spent a lot of money all year round. Not to mention that they and the old men still have to buy paper, pens, and other supplies, and occasionally visit black markets and flea markets. Back to the 60s, the struggle career of a charmed wife. Author, Ning Xiaobai. Chapter 1757. Not taking a vacation also has the advantage of not taking a vacation. The salary remains the same and the allowance is doubled. Regardless of whether Feng Qingxiu can take a vacation and return to his hometown at the end of the year, Lu's father does not plan to take Zibao away from his hometown because Zibao is older and has stronger learning ability than when he was a child, and he is afraid of delaying his studies. "I've been away from home for a few months, and I don't know how much I've learned." Therefore, Lu Zhang and Feng Qingxiu deposited another 1,000 yuan in their father's bank book. However, the reunion time was too short, and the two left in a hurry. They could not make some clothes, shoes, and socks for them to take back, so they had to will send it later. Fortunately, they were sent away the next day, because Feng Qingxiu met Su Jiaojiao at Jiang's house when she came back. Even though Lu Zhang had rejected Su Junzhi's proposal, and even though Feng Qingxiu and Zibao had spoken politely to Su Jiaojiao, the Su family acted as if they hadn't heard and remained the same. Zhang Xiaoyu's expression was ugly. "Su Jiaojiao, are you unable to understand human speech?" Su Jiaojiao suddenly flashed her watery eyes. "Sister Xiaoyu, What are you talking about? I'm here to play with brother Tianmao, not you, so what do you think of me? According to the friendship between Zhang Yun and Su Junchu, Su Jiaojiao had always called Zhang Xiaoyu Aunt Xiaoyu, but now she changed her name to Sister Xiaoyu, apparently because Zibao was Xiaoyu's brother-in-law. Zhang Xiaoyu has a straightforward temper and loves to fight against injustice. She dislikes the way the Su family behaves, especially Su Jiaojiao. It is abominable to target Zibao at such a young age. Feng Qingxiu raised her hand and held down her shoulders to stop her from answering. When he came down, he said to Su Jiaojiao with a smile, "What a coincidence, our Tianmao has left. Comrade Su should go find someone else to play. Xiaoyu is injured and needs to rest." Su Jiao stood up from the sofa with a loud sound and blurted out, "What? Brother Tianmao is gone? How can you do this? I haven't played with brother Tianmao yet." She loved the fiancé chosen by her grandparents and parents. Tall and handsome, with both civil and military skills, there is no better looking brother in the compound than him. They are a match made in heaven, and they will definitely live a good life in the future. The plan to cultivate feelings was already in progress, but they sent Lu Tianmao away. Seeing the accusation on Su Jiaojiao's face, Feng Qingxiu smiled and said unceremoniously, "I can't help it, our children don't like to play with strangers with evil intentions. I told you once, you didn't remember, you can say it a second or third time." "Mom, didn't we say we would pack our bags and prepare to return to the army at night?" Fuebao interjected. "Yeah, let's go pack our things." Father Lu and Zibao were gone, and people like Su Jiaojiao appeared again. It didn't make much sense for them to stay. Feng Qingxiu should go back to the army to report, and she would be embarrassed if she was delayed any longer. Zhang Xiaoyu stood up immediately, "Auntie, let me help you." No one paid attention, and the target had left. Su Jiaojiao, who had been pampered since she was a child, could not bear their indifference to her. She stamped her feet and went back to complain to her grandfather in tears. She must let his grandfather get Lu Tianmao back to play with him. Unfortunately, before Zibao left, a letter was delivered to the old leader. The old leader has always been fond of Zibao and has placed great hopes on Zibao. How can he tolerate others plotting against his marriage? He immediately called Su Junchu and asked him to give up the unrealistic plan. By the time Feng Qingxiu found out about this, she had already returned to the Wuchen army with the elderly and children. Back to the 60s, the struggle career of a charmed wife. Author, Ning Xiaobai. Chapter 1758. The first thing Feng Qingxiu did when she returned to the army was to go through the return to post procedures. Then she arranged for her children to go to school, packed her belongings and things sent from Nanhai, and was busy without stopping for a minute. Lu Zhang has a new guard, and his family has a new orderly Xiaomiao, who still needs to get familiar with him. Life is back on track, it's already September, and I can finally take a breather. The news was brought back by Lu Zhang. They had many acquaintances, so the news was naturally well informed. Feng Qingxiu burst out laughing. "The Su family must not be embarrassed, sir. You self-righteously proposed some kind of child marriage, and after being rejected by us, you were criticized by the old leader. During this period, you were also criticized by Brother Zhang. You don't know where to put your old face, right? Do you really think that their Zibao is a soft persimmon that can be pinched casually? Wrong idea. Zibao's living environment since childhood and the people he has come into contact with have destined him not to swallow his anger on certain things. I don't know what Su Junchu is thinking. Do you really think his proposal is a great favor to his family? Do you really think that because your family has a shallow foundation, you will value marriage with a high-ranking family? If they really valued marriage and ignored their children, they would not allow their nephews to fall in love and get married freely. Yes, Lu Tianjun married Zhang Xiaoyu, so what? They also fell in love and got married freely. Could it be that when Sujunchu saw Lu Tianjun married Zhang Xiaoyu, he thought that the Lu family valued marriage? After all, Zhang Yun was at a very high level at the time. Somehow, Feng Qingxiu suddenly thought of this. She didn't know that her guess was almost the truth. Lu Zhang didn't pay attention to his wife's thoughts. While rummaging through the luggage he brought back, he said, "The old man is old, so I don't dare to provoke him too much. He is really angry. Even if we have no responsibility, others will blame it on us." Saying that if we agreed to the old man's suggestion, the old man would not be like this. Who told this matter to be related to their Zibao? There are two skins in a person's mouth, bumping up and down. You can say whatever you want, and no one can control it. The education of the Su family was not very good, but they had quite a lot of in-laws. Feng Qingxiu hummed softly, humming again and again. Except for Su Junlin, who was honest, loyal, and good-tempered, the rest of the Su family really didn't have many good things in terms of their behavior and lifestyle. It was like a few mouse droppings ruined a big pot of porridge. No wonder Bai Shui would rather take her daughter and Su Junlin to live a hard life on the border than let Su Junlin be transferred back to the capital military region and its nearby military regions. Su Junlin originally had a chance to be transferred back to the capital military district. After some persuasion by Bai Shui, Su Junlin gave up the opportunity to others, and his family of 3 is still stationed in the border defense force. Seeing that Lu Zhang was still looking through his suitcase, Feng Qingxiu lazily leaned against the door frame of the bedroom without stepping forward to help. "What are you looking for?" Lu Zhang didn't answer until he took out 2 malted milk cans and said, "Look for this." As he spoke, he tilted the mouth of one of the jars slightly, poured it against the table, and poured out a pile of large and small Hessian jade seed materials. Some were white and flawless, some had autumn pear skin, some had jujube skin, and sprinkled gold skin, oil smoke skin, as big as a fist, as small as a knuckle, basically in various egg shapes, exuding a warm, natural, and simple luster. Hessian jade seed material. Feng Qingxiu quickly stepped forward, reached out, and picked up a piece of jade with a sprinkling of gold skin. Her eyes were full of surprise. "Where did you get it? You have been in the capital recently, and didn't go to the northwest." Lu Zhang said proudly, "Not only are the seeds, but half of them are mutton fat jade grade, and half are top grade white jade." You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Back to the 60s, the struggle career of a charmed wife. Author, Ning Xiaobai. Chapter 1759. Where did it come from? Tell me quickly, where did it come from? Feng Qingxiu has excellent eyesight. The piece in her hand is mutton fat jade. It is as white as the cut fat of a sheep. Its texture is tight and no structure can be seen. It is delicate, warm, and oily. It has reached this level before even playing with it. After playing it, you can imagine how great it is. She likes jade and always has. Among Nephrites, Hessian jade is my favorite, and jadeite is my favorite among jadeites. Although I also like the brilliance and beauty of other jewelry, they cannot be compared to the first 2. It is because my conditions in my previous life were limited and I have never been exposed to the best. Lu Zhang knew his wife's hobbies well, so he did his best to collect jade for her. Isn't Huo Biding always in the Kunlun military region? I asked him to collect it from the aborigines near the Yulong Kashgar River. It took several years to save so much jade. There were some good ones and some bad ones that were not taken out from the box. He didn't dare to let the third person know and didn't go through the mail. It wasn't until he went back to the capital to visit relatives last month that we met during a 2-month vacation. "Leave it to me." He said that if he couldn't find me, he would send it here himself. Feng Qingxiu had a particularly deep impression on Huo Biding. After all, She was the first group of Lu Jiang's comrades to contact him, and she was also kind to him by sending him food and saving his life. For more than 10 years, they had never stopped exchanging letters. The conditions there were extremely difficult. Lu Jiang and Feng Qingxiu would send food and supplies to Huo Biding every year without interruption. Is Huo Biding okay? Feng Qingxiu played with the oily jade and remembered that Huo Biding got married 10 years ago to a medical soldier in the army. When they got married and had children, they sent him a lot of things. Lu Jiang sighed. His wife died last winter, leaving behind 2 children, a boy and a girl. Feng Qingxiu's hand suddenly stopped, and the hand holding the jade turned white, almost the same color as the jade. Sacrificed? How could this happen? What happened? Huo Biding's wife was about the same age as him, but she passed away like this in her 30s. 4 medical soldiers went over the mountains to promote health work and treat diseases to local residents. On the way back, they were hit by an avalanche and no one survived. She was one of them. Lu Jiang has become accustomed to it. Although he felt sad for Huo Biding, he was the first to join the army. From the beginning of the day, they know that their lives are no longer theirs, and wars and accidents may happen at any time. Feng Qingxiu cherishes her life, but she admires any soldier who sacrifices his life regardless of his own safety. Where is the child? How did you arrange it? A child without a mother is pitiful. Lu Jiang said in a deep voice. Huo Biding is busy with work, and it is common for him not to see anyone for 10 days and a half, so he took the opportunity to visit relatives to send the children to their grandparents' house. I asked my uncle to give me the apartment you rented when you were in school. The small yard was rented to them as part of the return, and Huo Biding was responsible for the rent. His brother-in-law was very happy. I saw 2 children, one 8 years old and one 6 years old. They had never gone to school there. I asked someone to arrange for them to enter. I found the school that Fu Bao attended. Feng Qingxiu sighed. Living under someone else's roof is not that easy. It's okay for adults to treat their children well, but of course people who have their own children put their children first in everything, and no one can say they are wrong. When you have the opportunity to go to the capital, go and see the children often. Feng Qingxiu felt sorry for the 2 motherless children. I will write a letter to Sister Xuanyang later and ask her and Brother Zheng to pay attention in secret. If the children live well, of course we won't say anything. If the child is bullied, we have to tell Huo Biding no matter what. Back to the 60s, the struggle career of a charmed wife. Author, Ning Xiaobai. Chapter 1760. Lu Jiang hummed. The boy is the eldest, his name is Huo Yan, and the girl is the youngest, her name is Huo Xiao. Huo Xiao, Feng Qingxiu raised her eyebrows. This name is appropriate. Huo Xiao is a tragic figure. Forget it, the name is not important. What is important is that the child lives a good life. I will remember it and will tell Sister Xuanyang. When Lu Jiang was putting his luggage away, he found many unpacked packages piled up in the corner of the bedroom. He was extremely surprised. Where did all these things come from? A small part of it was received this month when you were not in the army. It was sent by relatives and friends from all over the country. It took me a lot of effort to pack it up. Most of it was sent from the South China Sea. I bought a lot before coming here. I also bought a lot of dry goods in the name of Dr. Guo and sister-in-law Gu, and I didn't share much with each other. Of course, I have already sent some of them to my relatives and friends locally. Feng Qingxiu put the Hishan jade seeds back into the jar piece by piece, and found the second-grade white jade seeds in the suitcase, and put them into the space together. When I came back, I saw the jade jewelry and jade pieces you mentioned, all put away. Don't worry, just accept me. As soon as Lu Jiang finished speaking, he saw his wife pointing at several scrolls and 2 boxes in the suitcase. Lu Jiang patted his forehead and almost forgot about it. When I had a few free days in the capital, I met Jin Laokai by chance when I was visiting Mr. Hong. In the past 2 years, with your and my explicit or covert support, he has lived a very comfortable life. When he saw me, he volunteered to help me find and exchange things. I got some good things from Jiao-san and received some from other down and out 8 banners disciples. I didn't come forward and only provided money and food stamps. The couple never acknowledged their relationship with their ancestor Jin Laokai, and Jin Laokai probably knew it in his heart. He never asked questions, remained neither cold nor indifferent, neither far nor near, and both of them were very comfortable. Feng Qingxiu couldn't help but laugh and said, "You don't forget to do these when you are busy. I haven't come across anything good in more than half a year. You are in the South China Sea Fleet, how can you have the opportunity to come into contact with these things?" Lu Zhang held the scroll and the box in front of his wife and asked her to put them into the space. "We have a lot of children. We must save their belongings carefully so that they can save money in the future. Something you shouldn't get involved in." Hearing him mention money, Feng Qingxiu was slightly startled. "Why did you say this?" Lu Zhang sighed. "When you were not in the army, in the 2nd and 3rd months of the new year, Comrade Lu Zhenqiu's son engaged in corruption during his tenure. He embezzled and withheld various materials distributed by the state with a total value of up to 3,000 yuan. The old leader personally gave instructions." "Dead?" Feng Qingxiu was shocked. "I've been back for a few days, but I haven't heard anything. Family scandals should not be made public. For Comrade Lu Zhenqiu's sake, no one will come to you and tell you specifically." "After all, half a year has passed." Lu Zhang shook his head. "The hard and simple style of the older generation of revolutionaries will affect future generations. But with the progress of the times, the influence is getting weaker and weaker. Everyone wants to eat well, drink well, and enjoy themselves well. The living standard of the family is superior, which can at least prevent the children from the temptation of fame and fortune. Because they have it, they don't have such deep desire to go. It's less likely to go astray." Feng Qingxiu deeply agreed. "Don't worry about our children. They have never lacked anything since they were young, and we have accumulated a lot of property. Naturally, they will not go astray because of desire. But they still have to work hard on their own. Only in this way can we understand that life and work are not easy, and we will be grateful. We have prepared everything, and we will inevitably have the idea of sitting back and enjoying the results."